Atticu's joy knew no bounds when she finally gave birth to Jill after 10 years of waiting. Her prayers had been answered, and she felt complete. Her mother-in-law, Mama Chica, could no longer mock her for being childless. Jill was her pride, her miracle, and the answer to her tears. Returning from the hospital, Atticu gathered her domestic staff and gave strict instructions. "Be careful with my son," she warned. "If he misbehaves, leave him to me. I will raise him how I want." She loved Jill so deeply that she fired any staff who mishandled his belongings. As Jill grew older, he became attached to Atticu. While other children played outside, Jill stayed close to his mother, following her everywhere. His father, Chijioke, wasn't home often due to work, so Jill clung even more tightly to Atticu. Chijioke tried to encourage Jill to play with other children and become more independent, but Atticu dismissed his concerns. "He just loves me," she said. "Don't be jealous." Chijioke worried, warning her, "A chick that stays under its mother's wings for too long forgets how to fly." Atticu ignored him, believing her love for Jill was harmless. To her, he was her miracle child, and she vowed to make him happy no matter what. Atticu's love for Jill grew stronger as he did. She would do anything to keep him happy, even if it was to his detriment. When Jill cried that a maid pinched him, Atticu fired her immediately, not even confirming the claim. As Jill grew older, their bond became even closer. Atticu would shower and dress in front of him without hesitation, believing he was just a child and didn't know right from wrong. Her actions puzzled others, but she shrugged off their concerns. Even Chijioke grew uneasy with their closeness. "You're spoiling him," he warned. "He's no longer a baby." Atticu refused to listen, convinced that her love was making Jill strong and confident. But as Jill reached his teenage years, his behavior became increasingly disturbing. At 15, Jill began showing unusual possessiveness toward Atticu. He became territorial, especially when others interacted with her. Teachers complained about his aggressive attitude, but Atticu dismissed it. "He's just strong-willed," she said. Chijioke grew more alarmed, noticing that Jill wasn't acting like a son, but more like a jealous lover. Atticu still brushed off his concerns, laughing and calling Jill her sweet boy. Jill's attachment to Atticu became more obsessive. He started bringing her flowers and calling her his queen. Atticu found it sweet, unaware that his feelings for her were crossing boundaries. One day, Atticu found a notebook in Jill's room filled with disturbing writings. He called her his queen and expressed his desire to be with her forever. He even wrote about harming his father to keep her to himself. Atticu was shaken but dismissed it as teenage mischief. As time passed, Jill's behavior worsened. He followed Atticu everywhere, refusing to let anyone get too close to her. When a neighbor complimented Atticu, Jill attacked him, yelling, "Don't talk to her like that." Chijioke tried to enforce rules, forbidding Jill from following Atticu around. But Atticu undermined his efforts, claiming Jill was just being protective. Chijioke felt helpless as the bond between mother and son grew stronger. One evening, while Atticu prepared dinner, Jill approached her with an intense expression. "Mama, I need to tell you something," he said. "What is it, my son?" Atticu asked, smiling. Jill hesitated, then said, "I love you, Mama. Not like a son loves his mother. I truly love you." Atticu froze in shock. "What are you saying?" she whispered, her heart pounding. "You are mine, Mama," Jill said, grabbing her arm. "We're meant to be together." Atticu broke free, terrified. She called Chijioke, who rushed home immediately. When Chijioke confronted Jill, the boy attacked him, shouting, "She doesn't need you. She's mine." Chijioke restrained Jill and turned to Atticu. "This is your fault," he said. "I warned you, but you wouldn't listen." Atticu was filled with guilt, realizing that her blind love had created a monster. She reached out to her mother for help, but every attempt to fix the situation only made things worse. The family tried everything to help Jill. They sought therapy, spiritual help, and even considered sending him to boarding school. But Jill's obsession with Atticu only grew stronger. One night, Jill tried to force himself on Atticu. She screamed and ran out of the house, where Chijioke had just arrived. Enraged, Chijioke called the police, and Jill was taken into custody. As Atticu sat in the living room that night, tears streamed down her face. She realized the gravity of her mistakes. She had crossed boundaries, blurring the line between motherly love and unhealthy attachment. Now, her son's future was at stake, and her family was shattered. Adiku vowed to make amends, but she knew the road ahead would be long and painful. The bond she had created out of love had turned into a chain of destruction, and it was up to her to break it.